On First at 4, a fire shuts down an entire school district until after Thanksgiving. And the nation's top drug policy official announces more help for drug addicts in eastern Kentucky.
This week is starting off nice, but all eyes are on rain chances heading towards Thanksgiving. First at 4 is next.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, all Lawrence County schools are closed until after Thanksgiving break due to a fire. It began Friday in a culvert near the back of Louisa East Elementary School. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher was there today as officials used a motorized camera to look at the extent of the damage. Governor-elect Andy Beshear stopped by the WYMT studios this morning to record Issues and Answers. We covered a host of topics from the upcoming inauguration, his family's plan to live in the governor's mansion, to bringing jobs to eastern Kentucky. He also focused heavily on education and his plan for the State Board of Education.
We need a Board of Education that truly supports our children, supports our education community, and puts our kids before for-profit charter school companies. Yes, the governor has the power to do that. I know because I lost that case in the Supreme Court. It's important to have a commissioner of education, too, that is in line with a governor, especially one that ran talking about public education in a positive way that moves our families forward. I hope our current commissioner of education can understand that.
And you can watch the entire interview on Issues and Answers tonight at 7 on WYMT. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg is on the campaign trail today after officially launching his bid for the Democratic presidential nomination. The billionaire businessman is framing his candidacy as the best hope to beat the New York billionaire currently in the White House. Here's a short clip of Bloomberg's first campaign ad.
He could have just been the middle-class kid who made good, but Mike Bloomberg became the guy who did good.
Bloomberg is promising not to take any campaign contributions, even though by not accepting donations, he will not qualify for the Democratic debates. A Bloomberg spokesperson says if the Democratic National Committee changes its rules, he will gladly participate. State and federal officials went to an eastern Kentucky town to announce a new facility for drug abuse victims. House Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and the White House drug czar made the announcement. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more from Clay County. Coal mining took another hit in eastern Kentucky today. A company announced plans to lay off more than 150 people around the first of the year. Nally and Hamilton Enterprises filed a warn notice for 5 work sites across the region. The locations include London, Hyden, Harlan, and Pineville. In Pineville, the layoff is expected to affect nearly 100 workers. In total, 170 workers may lose their jobs. Internal White House emails show an effort to justify President Donald Trump's decision to withhold congressionally authorized money to help Ukraine's military after that decision was already made. This was after the president ordered the hold after his July 25th phone call with Ukraine's president, asking the president to investigate Joe Biden and his son Hunter. The OMB defended the hold, saying there was legal consensus at every step of the way. They called him a failed sheriff after the massacre at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, and Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel was removed from office. Israel filed a lawsuit Friday against Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the Florida Senate. He says they illegally removed him from office and says it violated due process. The decision to remove him from his elected position finalized the governor's executive order to suspend him from the position after allegations of neglect of duty and failures in his department's response to the 2018 mass shooting. But in that lawsuit, he says the governor never proved any of it. Now he wants his job back. Well, Thanksgiving is just 3 days away, which means many of you are preparing to hit the roads to visit family and friends. WYMT's Katie Cook is live from London, where she's been talking with some of those early travelers. Katie?
Yes, Steve, the holidays are here and AAA is expecting about 50 million people to hit the road this week. Now, an interesting fact for you penny pinchers out there, compared to the national average, gas prices are expected to be up 2 cents per gallon this week. But Steve, no matter matter the cost, the people I talked to say they are just ready to get out of town and spend time with their families. For now, in London, Katie Cook, Wymt Mountain News.
All right, Katie, thank you very much. And AAA is encouraging you to check your car and check it twice before leaving on a trip. They are anticipating about 368,000 breakdowns from Wednesday until Sunday. Straight ahead on First at 4, a real heist that sounds like a movie. Thieves in Germany steal millions of dollars worth of jewels from the country's oldest museum.
Well, today's weather was definitely something to be thankful for, but we do have rain chances heading into the holiday forecast. Those details coming up.
This is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, it is Giving Tuesday, and Pikeville Medical Center held a news conference this afternoon to announce a donation foundation. The first campaign to raise money deals with the new Children's Hospital. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher was there to learn why officials chose this cause. Officials from the Laurel County Sheriff's Office say they arrested a man they have searched months for. Walter Darling is accused of impersonating a peace officer and pulling over a woman. Officials say he held that woman at knife point and made her drive to a hayfield. Officials say he then tried to sexually assault her.
I think Laurel Countyans can feel a little bit safer right now. They're out shopping and doing fun things with their families, and I think they can feel just a little bit safer because we have this guy behind bars.
Officials say they do believe there is another person involved in this case. They say they are expecting to make another arrest soon. California Senator Kamala Harris ended her 2020 presidential campaign today. She told her senior staff about the decision this morning and later sent an email to supporters. Harris struggled to move her low poll numbers in recent months. The senator acknowledged financial pressures led to her decision, saying she could not fund her own campaign. Virginia gun activists are celebrating after a vote to make Louisa County a Second Amendment sanctuary. The move to become a sanctuary comes after November's elections that put Democrats in control of the State House. Democratic Governor Ralph Northam says his party's leaders will push for gun control measures. A number of counties in Virginia passed or are considering resolutions to declare themselves gun sanctuaries. The House Intelligence Committee is expected to vote this evening on a report summarizing its impeachment inquiry. The report is expected to say President Donald Trump held up military aid to Ukraine and a coveted White House meeting while he and top officials pressured the country's president to investigate his political rival, Joe Biden.
The president believed, obviously, this would help his reelection campaign, and he was willing to use the full force of his office to leverage Ukraine to do these sham investigations.
Yesterday, Republicans released a minority report saying there is no firsthand evidence that the president improperly pressured the Ukrainian president. The Intelligence Committee is expected to vote this evening to approve the report, and the House Judiciary Committee holds its first impeachment hearing tomorrow, featuring 4 constitutional experts discussing the historical precedent for impeaching a president. Well, the president is in London, England for a 2-day NATO summit. President Trump met with French President Emmanuel Macron just hours after lashing out at the European ally. The French president said NATO is brain dead because of a lack of U.S. leadership. President Trump is discussing more tariffs, this time on French cheese, beauty products, handbags, and other items. This is in response to a new French digital services tax that impacts large U.S. companies like Facebook and Google. The proposed tariffs could cause a greater wedge between members of the European Union and President Trump. The U.S. already hit $7.5 billion worth of European goods in October over subsidies to plane maker Airbus. France's finance minister said the European Union would be ready to retaliate strongly. Coming up on First at 4, while most of us saw very little snow around here yesterday, a record-breaking storm is impacting millions in other parts of the country.
And we are seeing some sunshine in the forecast, but how long will it last? More on that coming up.
Saturday morning, a fire tore through a home in Leslie County. The family says it happened so quickly that as they ran out of the house, the roof started to collapse. WYMT's Connor James talked with the family about that devastating day and what's being done to help. Connor?
Steve, Jeff, and Amanda Middleton have 3 kids, and while they are thankful they all made it out safe, they lost everything else, from pets to family heirlooms. The Middletons watched it all go up in flames. Now, the fire started on their porch at their Leslie County home in Stinnett. Now, Jeff Middleton is a former Black Jewel miner. He's been laid off since July and was actually working to become an EMT. They said this year has been obviously hard on them, and with the holidays approaching, they don't know what they're going to be doing next.
When they paid that back pay that they had owed them, we had actually managed to throw them a pretty decent Christmas together, and to watch it go up, it was hard for that. And we'll make it. We'll make it. We have to. That's all we have is just hope in the Lord. Literally, that's all we have is just hope, so.
Now, if someone is interested in helping, the Stinnett Volunteer Fire Department, where Jeff's a volunteer at, actually is collecting donations for the family, whether that be money or something like clothes. We'll have much more on this story coming up at 6.
All right, Paige, thank you. A man with distinct shoes robbed a store in northern Laurel County this morning. Deputies with the Laurel County Sheriff's Office are asking for help identifying the man seen in these photos. Make note of the distinct shoe color and type. He is suspected of robbing the North Laurel BP around 2:30 a.m. The robber pointed a pistol at the store clerk and then ran away with an unknown amount of cash. If you know this man or have any information, you should call the Sheriff's Office at 1-606-864-6600. An inmate escaped from a jail in Powell County yesterday afternoon. Troopers with Kentucky State Police are looking for this man, 27-year-old John Bixby of Adairville. He is suspected of escaping from work release at a transfer station in Clay City. Bixby was last wearing an orange jumpsuit. Troopers believe he is driving a stolen red car. If you see Bixby, call 911 immediately. We have some breaking news we want to tell you about out of Whitley County. Officials tell us a woman was run over in the Williamsburg Walmart parking lot. A young child was also with the woman. She is believed to have fallen on a crosswalk, and an oncoming car did not see her and ran over her. The injuries are believed to be serious but not life-threatening. Both are being airlifted because of broken bones. We'll continue to follow this story and have the latest in our later newscasts and on WYMT.com. Tonight, Democratic candidates will make their case as to why they should be the Democratic challenger to President Donald Trump. Stricter polling and donor requirements means just 7 out of the 15 candidates qualify for tonight's debate. Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Tom Steyer, and Andrew Yang are taking the stage. But political experts say the smaller field could be beneficial for the candidates.
You'll get more time looking at each candidate. So those that are following the race and the candidates who want to sort of win in Iowa in in a month and a half or so from now, this is huge.
You also will not see another latecomer to the race tonight. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg will not be joining the field. He did not get in the race until after November's debate. Bloomberg plans to self-fund his campaign and not accept donations, automatically disqualifying him from this debate. So you've made your list and checked it twice, but did you make sure to check the shipping deadlines? Christmas is less than 1 week away, and today is the deadline for FedEx, unless you want to spend extra money to ship tomorrow. For Target and Best Buy, the deadline is tomorrow. For Amazon, if you are a Prime member, you have until Sunday. It is the same for Walmart. And for UPS, Monday is the last day for next day air shipments. Straight ahead on First at 4, a soldier makes it home just in time for Christmas. Grab the tissues for this story after the break.
Clouds increase as we head into the weekend, but we look to remain on the drier side. I'll tell you why coming up.
Coming up on First at 4, a troubled Eastern Kentucky water district will be under new management soon. And water woes continue for some in Hazard. We'll talk to people at one business affected.
And more sunshine moves in for your Thursday, but those rain chances return by Friday. First at 4 is next.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, a new partnership in Martin County was announced today, one that has officials saying they are cautiously optimistic. WYMT's Buddy Forbes was there for a news conference about the county's new water management plans. Homes and businesses from Exit 59 to the Kentucky River Regional Animal Shelter in Perry County are still under a boil water advisory tonight after a water main broke in Hazard Monday. WYMT's Will Puckett has more from one of the businesses along the way that's impacted. The murder case against the woman accused of killing Leanna Brumley in Pulaski County is headed to a grand jury. Danielle Powell is charged with Brumley's murder. Brumley disappeared in May, and police believe some of her remains were found last week. Police say Powell told them last summer that she was forced to kill the young mother. We'll have much more on what came out in court coming up at 6. We now know the name of the victim in a deadly crash this morning that shut down an Estill County road for hours. Kentucky State Police sent reconstruction crews to try and determine what happened. Olivia Russell has the latest on their investigation. Straight ahead on First at 4, an Eastern Kentucky native gets his first Grammy nomination. Find out who else was nominated after the break.
And we're going to see some showers coming in Friday, but how long will they stick around? I'll have those details coming up.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, the polls are open for 2 more hours in this part of the Commonwealth. Kentuckians are voting for a governor along with constitutional offices. Some are predicting a close race for governor between incumbent Matt Bevin and Attorney General Andy Beshear. WYMT's Emily Bennett joins us now with more on campaign 2019. Emily?
Steve, the last few days, Governor Matt Bevin and Attorney General Andy Beshear traveled all across the state of Kentucky, hoping their last-ditch efforts help them across the finish line. And now, this morning, they filled out their ballots, hoping tonight will bring victory. Now, this race is expected to be closely contested, but be sure to stay tuned to YMT as the results come in tonight. We do have reporters with both Democrats and Republicans in Louisville. We'll also have a special report at 7 with the latest updates and analysis.
All right, Emily, thank you very much. Could possibly have the first races called at 7 o'clock, but we'll just have to wait and see. We hope you'll stick with us here through the rest of the evening. Well, as you're heading to the polls today to exercise your right to vote, security experts are concerned about foreign interference in this election and the presidential election next year, similar to what happened in 2016. Chris Krebs runs the new U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. In this CBS This Morning interview, he gave rare access to classified areas where his teams are constantly monitoring for online threats. What worries him most is a cyber attack targeting election offices.
What if somebody locked up a voter registration database a month in front of an election? Okay, what are our fallback positions?
You're gaming that out now.
Absolutely.
His agency is also working to make sure every electronic vote is backed up with an old-fashioned paper record. Although foreign hackers accessed some election systems in 2016, there is no evidence that any votes were altered. All right, Paige, thank you. Voter turnout in Kentucky was predicted to be around 31% for today's election. WYMT's Katie Cook spent some time at a few different polling locations today to check on the turnout and also has an update on problems at the polls. Now, you can report any violations of Kentucky's election laws to the Attorney General's fraud hotline. That number to call is 800-328-VOTE or 800-328-8683. As Katie mentioned, as of 1:30 this afternoon, there were 47 calls today. Most were not out of Eastern Kentucky. Straight ahead on First at 4, Eastern Kentucky is no stranger to deadly small plane crashes through the years. Now, new technology may help pilots land safely automatically.
And nice temperatures continue for Wednesday, but cold air arrives by the end of the work week as a cold front moves through. I'll have those details coming up.